Welcome inside the Dick Braun Memorial Ice Arena, where today the Osseo Orioles host the Hopkins Royals on Senior Day. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bill Hupp, joined by Dan Ficken. And Dan, Hopkins is coming off a 4-3 overtime win over Dodge County last night, and the Royals are looking to pick up their first weekend sweep of the season this afternoon.
Yeah, it's been kind of a tough one, though. They've been 1-6 prior to that and coming in here and been outscored pretty badly, 42-6 over the past few games on that. But this will be a good opportunity for them as they come in here. They've given up 4.3 goals a game. They need to stop that. That's the key right now for them.
Meanwhile, Osseo is enjoying a bit of a resurgence under head coach David Prokop. They're hoping to bounce back from an 8-0 loss to Centennial here on Thursday and even their record at 500.
Yeah, and that would be a bonus for them. I think they ended up with only 4 wins totally last year and have come on and really put on. But they've gotten some young help. Some of the sophomores here have really stepped up and played for Coach Prokop, and they've done a good job. This would be a nice tester for them. This would be a good win for them to pull out of that.
Wearing those sweet orange breezers today. It should be a fun one this afternoon. It's Hopkins and Osseo tangling in the tin bin next here on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Just ahead of puck drop here at the tin bin. Hopkins in the black uniform, silver numbers, and lettering, blue helmets. And Osseo here on Senior Day in the black helmets, orange breezers, white sweaters, orange lettering numeral with the orange and black trim. Very sharp looking uniform battle. As we are set to get underway, Hopkins coming in, having lost 6 of the last 8. Shutout in 4 of those losses, so we'll see which team gets on the board first and gets off to a faster start here this afternoon in front of a packed house here at the Dick Braun Memorial Ice Arena.
Well, both teams have had trouble scoring, and that's going to be the key. Whoever can get off the schneid and start putting the puck in the net is going to have a real advantage.
Brady Land shoots it in. It's left there for Justin Halverson. 7-8 on the season, a .381 goals against average, and an .880 save percentage for the senior. He and his backup, both our seniors, Samuel Otieno. As it's played back out and handled by Landishute at the blue line. Backhands it into the zone where it's picked up here by number 4, Jacob Bodine, one of the 3 captains for this Osseo squad. Tipped in the zone by Gavin Kashaska. And then backhanded out at center ice. This is Drew LeBerg. He helps out in the board battle along with number 20, Jake Sawicki. As we're underway, just underway here, 2 minutes gone by, first period. Good strength to hold it off, and then testing the sophomore, Carson Hauger, in net.
Good win on the boards there by the Osseo Orioles. They brought in and support each other really good.
As you see, Hauger's numbers, 3-9, a .371 goals against average, and a .900 save percentage.
It's going to be key here. They just barely got above .900 save percentage. Right around, both these teams have had lower than .800 save percentages here. They're going to need to be better than that.
Off the draw, it's chipped forward and raced after as Weston Danks tracks it into the near corner. Scoreless in the early going here in Osseo. Battle of the Lake Conference and the NWSC. Both really, really good conferences in their own rights. D-to-D passing for Hopkins as they look to exit the zone. Good forecheck by Osseo, forces him back momentarily, and then it's flipped toward Justin Halverson, who gloves it down and then lays it off for his teammate Brendan Kranz. Long stretch pass up ahead where it's tipped into the zone by Eli Larson. Intercepted at the blue line for Osseo. Big check delivered. It's rung around and raced down to by Larson in the right wing corner. He throws it in front all the way out to the left point where it's thrown on net. That was saved. May have hit something going in, but it stayed out. Shots one apiece in the early going. Right wing battle ultimately won by Hopkins. Great camera work by our crew as you see the Royals gain the zone. That shot deflects off of Bodine to the corner. Now Bodine, the captain, picks it up and skates down the right wing. Trying to walk his way through, but his path was blocked off beautifully by Weston Schenkelberg, whose name we'll probably call tonight. 3 goals and 13 assists on the season as the shot tests Halverson, and he hangs on and takes the whistle.
Okay, kind of back and forth here to start out the game. Both teams have got an opportunity on shots. See Halverson's stats there, 7.80, 3.81 GAA, 880 save percentage.
Just the one shutout like his counterpart, Carson Hauger. Osseo wins the draw, but Hopkins now hard on the forecheck. Schenkelberg from the dot, tests and a pad save made. Tried to get a glove on it, Halverson did, but ultimately it's cleared by the Orioles. Swept around, and Hopkins looks to exit, and they do. Malachi Berry has his pocket picked by Kachaka. Centering pass doesn't meet its mark. Instead, it's pass out of the point. Drulaberg loses it. Held in nicely, though, by Eli Palarenta, one of the alternate captains.
Well, I just noticed that the top scorer for Osseo, Luke Sawicki, just left the ice. He got hurt. Looks like an abdominal something, but he's walking back to the locker room now. So that's going to be a big loss for the Osseo Orioles if he can't make it back.
That's not a good sign. Luke Sawicki, one of the captains, a senior right winger, and he's already heading back to the locker room, as you said. Great spot by you, Dan. That one's fired across to the far side boards, chipped along momentarily by Will Engel, third line defenseman. Picked up by number 16, Danny Kraus. Chip and chase for him as Kraus tracks it to the end line. Battle in the Osseo zone along the left half wall, won by the Orioles. Engel tries a stretch pass. It's off the skate, ultimately, of Eli Larson. And now Hopkins will regain. William Deegan fires it in and then tracks it down. Off the window and out to center ice. Neither team really asserting control or possession very much. Shots 3-1 in favor of Hopkins in the early going. Poke checked away beautifully. Great job using his stick there. Davis Wick forcing the turnover. It's a run around to the far side for Bodine. He throws it. Centered out in front, but only finds a Royal.
Jake Bodine's been showing a lot of nice moves there defensively for Osseo. He stepped up in the play. Really done well with the puck.
They come off the wall with it. Drop back to the point. Flipped on net. And then backhanded around by Kranz. Or rather by Landshut. Try to catch Hopkins in a change. It's banked into the zone and tracked down by Louis DiGiulio. Just out of the reach of Malachi Berry. Bodine behind his own net. Laid off, quick zone exit here for Osseo. Davis Wick across. Palarenta puts it on net, it's turned aside. The Royals through center ice. Shared near side, back and forth these teams go. Wyatt Peterson dumps it in. Collected there by LeBerg. Taken back by Schenkelberg. Held in nicely by Swade Millis. His shot flashes through the Osseo crease. Good stick lift as Malachi Berry tries to stuff it short side. It's a loose piece of timber on the ice. Now it's at the left point through traffic, somehow saved by Halverson. There were screens in front, but Halverson managed to get the stop. Good, this is really positive for Hopkins. Another shot hits a Osseo Oriole out front. Now it's picked up in the Orioles attack. Drop back for Palarenta and he loses it. Puck slides back down to the Osseo end.
There's a lot of want here by the Hopkins Royals. They're really getting their feet moving and really trying to press, creating some pressure, especially in the Osseo zone.
Shaska tries to force it out of the zone and does. Now it's Osseo's turn to get on the front foot. Centered. It's on the side of the net, and the stop whistle stops play as Carson Hauger melted it down. As we take a look at Hopkins coach Dean Talkovic in his first season. Enjoyed talking Dylan Talkovic in his first season. Enjoyed talking to him before the game. Feels like there's some momentum to build on after they won in overtime over Dodge County at home last night.
That was a big win for them. They've been a little few and far between, but it's amazing what one win can do to a team and change their psyche overall.
And it's hard to rebuild in a conference as tough as the Lake. Even Buffalo has come up with some big wins lately.
They're coming on. But they haven't had to play Edina recently and all the high powers, Wayzata and the Lake. So this is a good opportunity for two evenly matched teams.
Like you said, Lake Conference and the NWSC, the Northwest Suburban Conference. You look at Osseo, they've had to play Maple Grove and Centennial, two of their last three games. They were handed 8-0 losses in both those contests. Long stretch pass tipped away by Hopkins. DeGilio getting his stick on it. Just out of the reach of Wyatt Peterson. Hauger. And Peterson loses out there to Alec Bjork.
Well, to mention, the two teams, Centennial and Maple Grove, they're definitely state tournament contenders, too. They could make the tournament.
Of course, Osseo, a member of Section 5 AA, so very likely to see one of those teams in the opening round of the section playoffs. And meanwhile, Hopkins is in Section 6. Not much easier for them. The likes of Wayzata and whatnot. And Hopkins actually was lost. The D. St. Hubert twins that play for Wayzata were the leading scorers for Hopkins last year. So certainly those were losses for Coach Talkovic. As we look at David Prokop in his third season, his two sons, the top two centers on this Orioles squad. Back out left, and then it's stolen away here by Eli Palarenta. He gains the zone, snaps off a shot. Hauger makes the save, and then dives on the rebound. Spilled it initially, but pounced on the loose puck as we're a little more than midway through this first period of play. Still scoreless between Hopkins and Osseo.
Some of the sight lines here are a little tough, and goalies coming in here have got to get used to it.
Palarenta has his first effort saved by Hauger. Loose puck scramble in the crease. A whistle stops play as a bit of extracurriculars. Looks like it's Peterson and Ty Prokop mixing it up. Ty, the top line centerman, Bennett the sophomore. Ty a junior, Bennett a sophomore. Two Prokop sons. Kind of fun to be coached by your dad.
Or not.
Or not, depends. Depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
Off the draw, Osseo wins it, holds the zone momentarily. Check delivered along the left half wall. DeGilio spins away from the pressure of Ty Prokop. And the Royals carry it out. The speed of Cameron Kinsella gets there first. Kinsella battling with Schenkelberg. Schenkelberg centering effort, stick to side. There's a shot from the center point. And Halverson made the comfortable save. Back out to the point again with Henry Copeland. He'll play it down low where it's intercepted. Skated out with speed by Ty Prokop. Palorenta couldn't get there first, and it's flung all the way down where icing will be the call. Stops the clock with 6:30 to go. 5-4 shots in favor of Hopkins, who, as we said in the opener, looking to pick up their first weekend series sweep of the season.
Be a good boost for them as they start moving back into late conference play and getting ready for sections and stuff.
5-12 on the season are the Royals. Osseo 10-11, 5-6 in conference play.
We just had a Hopkins winger flip an Osseo stick. Surprised there wasn't a call there.
Yeah, didn't just happen on its own. Off the draw, that shot fired wide. Kranz plays it back down low where it's intercepted by Melis. Stolen away, picked up by the speedy winger Danny Kraus. He tries to get by Kranz and can't. And Hopkins retains possession. Thrown on net, comfortable enough for Halverson. Kraus, path intercepted by Kranz. And now we've got a whistle and a stoppage in play. I believe the faceoff will come back down in the Osseo end right circle.
The puck ended up in the Osseo bench there, so that'll go back into their zone.
Hopkins wins the faceoff. And a shot driven down initially by Gavin Kachaka. Wyatt Peterson fired it home initially, but Kachaka was in the way.
We're starting to see a little physical stuff going on now here.
DeGiulio with more traffic in front. Halverson makes the save on that one. Deegan in a board battle. Puck comes up the near wall. Osseo having a hard time clearing its zone. Finally does, only as far as Wyatt Peterson. And now we have our first penalty. It's going to be a slash. And it looks like it's going to be on Osseo and defenseman Brendan Kranz.
This might be a little bit of a retaliation or frustration penalty here, Bill.
6'3", 215 pounds is Kran. And he commits the slashing penalty.
Yeah,
and that's just silly. Knocked the glove out as well.
That's just frustration. Neither of these teams' power plays are really that good or effective, so it's going to be, we'll see if one of them can pick it up here because it could be a big advantage.
Hopkins 13.2% with the man advantage this year. Osseo killing off 69.4% of the penalties they've taken. Back out on high for Landshut. Interesting setup here as Landshut plays catch along the right wing. And in front, goes up the near sideboards where Landshut collects it at the left point. He plays catch, Landshut center point. Centered, fanning on the shot, Malachi Berry. Back to Landshut. He walks in and then passes it left. Possession of, and we potentially have another penalty, but this time Swade Millis slams his stick. I think it's going to be on Hopkins.
Yes, it is.
With 1:06 left on the power play, Malachi Berry battling for position in between the rings. It's called for the penalty.
Got a cross check, wanted to get the defenseman off him. And it backfired and caused a penalty. Now we got a 4-on-4.
For the next minute, five, and then 2 minutes of man advantage for Osseo. 12:40 is the time of the penalty, and off the draw, the puck is iced, so we'll do it again from the right circle of the Hopkins zone as you take a look at Malachi Berry. Berry this season, 8 goals and 6 assists, but trying to do his part, just got a little careless. Off the draw, it's rung around and played down low by Jacob Bodine. Cameron Kinsella chips it down low. Osseo trying to hold the zone and keep it down here until they can get that 5th player on the ice. Drop back for Kinsella at the right point. Played down low, looking for Alec Bjork. Schenkelberg passes right, tries to exit the zone. Little chip and chase here for Leo Carter as he shoves off Kinsella. Centered out in front, but nobody was home. Millis skating back to collect for Hopkins. Schenkelberg chips it in the zone momentarily. And then it's picked up here with speed by Jacob Bodine. Osseo back to full strength. Bodine tests the left pad of Hauser. It's loose in front. We've got a man stretched across the goal line, and now we've got Bodine shoving a Schenkelberg in the back, I think. But how about the left pad of Carson Hauger saving this one for Hopkins?
He made a nice save there. Was headed for the corner. That had a definite possibility. Then a good rebound there, but the D falling back in the net. They might want to look and see if he maybe was even across the line, but it looked like a pretty clean save.
So it's a penalty power play now for Osseo. They're 19.7% this season with the man advantage. Shot by Kranz initially blocked down. He gives here for Gavin Kashaka, back to Kranz. Shared far side for Bennett Prokop. Kranz in the middle. Fed in front for Ty Prokop, and he didn't get much on the shot. Back to Kranz, center point. Near side, Eli Prokop. Down low for his brother Ty. He moves in, shoots at a screen in front in the form of Jake Sawicki. Sawicki goes back to the point. Now a chance here as Eli Prokop takes a shot. Ty recovers it. There's another shot, and it's gloved and held onto by Carson Hauger.
So far, a good power play by the Orioles, Bill. They're moving it around really nice. They're creating some shots.
Yeah.
Getting opportunities.
Sawicki, 4 goals and 4 assists on the power play this year for the Orioles, as you see Gavin Kashaska, a goal and 7 assists. Testing Hauger, who's stopped all 8 of the shots he's faced this afternoon. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey as both teams now 0 for 1 on the power play. That one's tipped off of an Osseo or Hopkins stick rather into their bench. That was not what William Deegan intended, but means the face-off will come back down as Dylan Talkovic and his coaching staff had to look alive there on the bench.
Yeah, it's been kind of, iffy for both teams breaking out. They're not in much of a rhythm trying to get out, and it's been a problem for both teams.
Osseo wins the draw cleanly. It's back to the left point. Thrown on net, but it hits a man out in front in the form of Aiden Mischke. Brendan Kranz gets it in deep and goes off for a breather. Good exit of the zone here by Malachi Berry. Cross ice pass. And Hopkins is just a bit offside. I guess you're either offside or you're not offside. It's not a bit offside. Just.
Well, if we're counting inches
state.
or feet,
It's a binary state of affairs. Face-off taking place in front of the Osseo bench. And again, the Orioles win the draw cleanly. Big check delivered on Kinsella by Berry. You can tell he's a physical player. Kinsella comes down to play it along the right half wall. On the backhand, Schenkelberg couldn't really get it out of his stick, but they managed to bank it in the zone nonetheless.
Well, Hopkins has come out here, be a more physical team. I wonder if they're going to turn it up a little bit more. It's been fairly effective for them.
Austin Hillstrom, first time we've called his name tonight, tries to get it up to Ty Prokop. It's banked ahead for Xander Brown. He shoots well wide of the mark. Bodine sweeps it ahead, looking for Ty Prokop. Hauger, with Prokop bearing down, decides to take the whistle. Stops the clock with 49.9 seconds to go here, first period on senior day at Osseo.
Well, the cause of concern in between the periods now is going to be the status of Mr. Sawicki. We haven't seen him back yet.
Yep.
Still in the locker room, so we'll see if he can manage to get back.
It would be a big loss for the Orioles, no doubt. Draw one into the right corner. Both teams digging away at it. Land shoot. Good crowd on hand for a Saturday afternoon.
Sure is nice to have some normal weather rather than that below freezing stuff we've been dealing with, man.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a shot. Hauger makes the pad save.
There was a juicy rebound sitting there.
It really was. Nagel picks it up, and he goes down. The hands go up, and a penalty going to Osseo, as I believe a hold will be called on Landshoot.
Timing couldn't be better for the Orioles here. Only 6 seconds left in the period, so they'll basically get a full power play when they come out for the second period. Get a good look at it here.
Yep, just gets his stick up in the hands of Kreisnagel. And as a color commentator I worked with last night said, you know, anytime they see the guy take his hand off the stick, it's going to get called, basically.
Yep.
And that's whacked out to center as time expires here in the first period. Orioles outshoot the Royals 9-6. Both teams go 0 for 1 on the power play. We head to our first intermission, scoreless here on Senior Day at Osseo. Hopkins and Osseo here on CCX. Scoreless after one period of play here at Dick Vrah Memorial Ice Arena. Bill Hupp, Dan Ficken for CCX Sports. And 9-6, Osseo outshooting Hopkins in the first period. Each team kind of even in terms of scoring chances. And it might be, as you see the stats for the period here, but might be, Dan, which team can stay out of the box more is the one that has the advantage.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, you don't want to give the team an extra advantage, and boy, they're both having trouble scoring here. I mean, you know, and the power play can really kickstart you a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like Osseo maybe, we don't have the stats for it, but it looked like Osseo was maybe a little bit better in terms of on the face-off circle.
Yes.
So when you have two teams that are, you know, roughly even as we think these teams are, you know, team discipline, face-off wins, things like that can really make a difference and be the difference in the game. Well,
if you can know you got a better than 60% chance of winning the face-off against a particular center, you set up a play to create a shot and open up for the point and give them the opportunity to shoot or get it down low back door. So maybe we'll see some of that happen here in the second period, but right now it's just they're having trouble getting it past those goalies.
Carson Hauger made 9 saves for the Royals in the first period. Meanwhile, Justin Halverson, a senior here on Senior Day, made 6 stops in net for the Orioles. Second period action soon to come here on CCX.
Mom was always very self-sufficient, but we started noticing things were off.
I was forgetting my responsibilities at work.
I told Mom we should visit a doctor.
Alzheimer's. It was hard to hear that.
Early detection gave us time to seek information and support as a family. I've never felt more connected with Mom.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Second period underway here in the Tin Bin, and off the draw, Hopkins moves in with a chance and a save made by Justin Halverson to deny Bennett Froderman. But we've got a penalty coming up, a slash, which negates the man advantage that Osseo had.
Well, we were talking, Hopkins had a little time to talk in their locker room too about setting some of this up. What a great face-off win there, coming right down the guts for an open shot at the goalie, and they had to stop it, but you could see the change here, and he got it through. Now what do you do?
Turnover by Jacob Bodine, and Bodine the one that goes for slashing. Second Osseo penalty, both of them slashing here today, and so it'll be just 20 seconds of man advantage for Hopkins eventually, but right now it's 4-on-4 for the next minute 25. Orioles trying to stay on side, but that zone entry a little sloppy, and it's picked up by DiGiulio for Hopkins. Louis DiGiulio hacking at it along with Alex Bjork. There's a shot saved by Halverson. We've got bodies on the ice.
Good save by the defense there. Stick got in there. Just that second shot was about to roll in.
And it's 2-on-2 for the Orioles as they gain the zone. There's a shot that flashes by the left post. Comes up the far boards. Orioles slam on the brakes, and they'll go to D with the pass. Orioles get some fresh skaters on the ice as DiGiulio takes a bump. One of two captains, actually the only captain, 4-year varsity player DiGiulio is. Grant Lochner, the other captain, out for the season for the Royals. Stretch pass finds its way to Danny Krause. He leaves it. There's a shot blocker to side. Tried to hold the zone, but can't, as Malachi Berry couldn't keep it in. Stops the clock with 34 seconds remaining on the slashing minor. Both teams in danger of going 0 for 2. Still some time left. Off the draw, Brendan Kranz backhands it in. Sets up at the blue line. Played by Swade Millis there for Hopkins. Banked out of the zone and then stolen back at center ice by Kachaka. Chase to the far right corner. Bennett Prokop leaning on a Hopkins Royal, and the Royals come away with it. Time expires on both penalties, so each team 0 for 2 with the man advantage as we've got a whistle. And we might have another penalty just as one ends. It looks like it is going to be Bennett Prokop who will go to the box. So just as Osseo got done killing off a power play, you got to go back on the penalty kill as they've already taken 2 penalties here in the second period.
It's going to make things a little not nice in the Prokop home later on tonight, I would imagine.
Shots 9-8 now, so Hopkins with the only 2 shots in the period. Prokop, a minor for roughing at 2:17 of the second period. So Hopkins goes to work. Barry in front, and Halverson makes the save. I have to imagine if you're Osseo, you got to feel confident with Justin Halverson in between the pipes on senior day.
Well, they're killing penalties at a 68% rate, almost 70%.
Yep, as you see here, great little move to feed it in front. Halverson makes the save. DiGiulio at the point, shares it far side, just outside the left circle, flashed across to Brady Landshut. DiGiulio works it side to side, centered looking for Barry. Back to DiGiulio, near side for Landshut. DiGiulio center point. He skates left, throws it on net. Believe it may have hit Eli Pellerenta in front, and Osseo able to clear the puck all the way down. 1:11, 1:10, and counting left on the roughing minor.
Good block shot there. It allowed the Osseo Orioles to clear the puck and get a line change, and they definitely needed one.
Wade Millis plays it. Back for Malachi Berry. Millis walks up the wall and then drops it back for DiGiulio. Carried here by Schecklenberg. There's a one-timer. Easy for me to say. Weston Schenkelberg. Now we've got another whistle, and a hand pass is the call.
Well, before we started, we kind of knew we were going to have trouble with that name, doggone it.
Yeah, struggling with it in the warm-ups. So the hand pass brings the face-off back down into the Hopkins end with 37 seconds left on the roughing minor. Face-off win for the Royals is Wyatt Peterson. Shares it near side for Danny Kraus. Kraus between the rings, puts a shot on net. Halverson saves it with his shoulder, and it's flipped all the way down to the end by Osseo. Dangerous pass there by Carson Hauger, but it works out for him. And then Leo Carter having trouble with it at center ice. It's banked out of the zone. Beautiful idea. Great pass to Ty Prokop. Trying to keep it alive, and his pass instead is intercepted by Leo Carter. Carter puts it on net. Oh, that didn't miss by much.
No, it didn't.
It was always rising, and we've got a penalty coming up, and I think it's going to be a second of the game on Kranz. Centered out looking for Leo Carter, the physicality continuing. Just as another Osseo penalty ends, they take another one. Kranz, his second of the game.
Not smart. Not smart at all. Didn't need to take that penalty at all. Just had the Hopkins player in front and just basically just knocked them down. And unless the puck's involved, you can't do that.
Time of the penalty, 4 minutes and 32 seconds.
And I think Luke Sawicki is done for the night. We have not seen him back yet.
No, be our best guess. That's a big loss, a 39-point scorer. That one snapped wide by Landshut. It was a wicked shot. It's intercepted, held beautifully in the zone by DiGiulio, but before being forced out of the zone by Jacob Bodine.
Good follow-up and support by the Osseo Orioles here, though, to make sure they had 2 or 3 guys working that puck, and they got it out.
DiGiulio falls down in his circle, but gets up and finds Millis. Ahead where it's tipped in the zone by Schenkelberg. DiGiulio gloves it down at center ice and regains the zone for Hopkins. He looks, shares it near side for Landshut, who hits a man front, and boy, Davis Wick took the worst of that. He's a little bit shaken up. There's a shot from a sharp angle, and Halverson makes the save. Denies Schenkelberg as it's cleared all the way down to Hauger in net. Hauger turns it over at the line. That's a bad giveaway. There's a shot that goes wide. Chance there for Eli Palarenta. Turned aside off the stick of Drew LeBerg. Osseo having the better of the shots despite being shorthanded. 39 seconds left on the roughing minor.
Well, unfortunately, the Hopkins goalie tends to be setting them up for additional shots. He needs to put it in the corner. Don't throw it out. Jeepers, come on.
Yeah, bad turnovers, bad giveaways. Great job by Ty Prokop to force it back down into the Royals' end. They finally get it in deep with Wyatt Peterson. And Osseo gets there first and sweeps it out. So the Orioles, despite taking 3 penalties in this second period, are going to be 3 for 3 on the kill, barring something disastrous. 2 seconds, 1, and the penalty is expired. Leo Carter slams on the brakes, tests Halverson, but he's square to it, and he makes the save.
Good idea. I like that. Comes around and he decides, I'll stop and just take a quick shot, see if he can catch the goalie by surprise here.
Take a look at the previous Hopkins chance, and it's a well-worked one indeed. From a sharp angle, Halverson spilled the rebound. Malachi Berry was right there, but he couldn't get on the rebound. So shots 12-9 in favor of Hopkins. 6-0 if you're counting at home in this period. So 3 penalties and no shots. How's that second period going for you?
Jeez.
There's a shot that whistles wide. And that's the first one of the second period. We're 7 minutes gone by.
Oh, boy.
Kranz gets tied up behind the net with William Deegan. Now the long outlet pass finds its way onto the stick of Bjork, and then he has it poke checked away at the line. Deegan deking his way, goes off the window, and Kranz gives him a big shove. Kranz got to be careful. Already two times in the penalty box.
And that's one of the smaller players on the ice, and refs tend to take their side a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and Deegan. Physicality, intensity picking up here in the second period. Osseo having a hard time clearing their zone. That one off the end boards. Kranz trying to get it out of his skates. Oh, worked ahead very nicely for Bjork. He tries to walk his way through and has it poke checked off his stick. Well done by Swade Millis.
Oh, very nicely done.
Backhanded, but held in nicely at the point by LeBerg. Through traffic, somehow Hogger sees it and taps it back to himself, takes the whistle.
Both goalies giving up some juicy rebounds there. That was one of about 3 now that Hogger's given up. But they've kept the Orioles off the front there, so
Hopkins.
they can't get at the rebound.
Yeah, Hopkins not doing itself any favors, going 0 for 4 on the power play so far. That one off the lively end boards. Eli Prokop trying to get there first. Gavin Kachaka goes back to the point for LeBerg. Near side. Kreisnagel's shot driven down, and it's out of the reach of a hustling LeBerg. Halverson left for LeBerg.
Ooh, bad turnover.
Yeah, and Halverson decides to just take the whistle and allow his team to get a change. Both teams long shifts out there before that.
Now my only question is, I like the sharp uniforms Osseo has. Why doesn't the goalie have orange breezers too?
I don't know. I was wondering that
Did they
myself. None of the goalies had orange breezers.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What are they, aliens? They're part of your team? Sorry, just an observance.
Oh, great observation. Face-off win for Hopkins, centered, and it goes underneath the stick of William Deegan, or rather Leo Carter. Auger leaves it behind the net for DiGiulio. 4-year varsity starter with Louis DiGiulio.
He showed some nice moves there, some good hands.
He just plays with a poise that you don't often see.
Yeah.
Schenkelberg stood up by Bodine. And it's carried on out here by Will Engel. Backhands it over. Centered just behind the intended recipient in Davis Wick.
And just a great, great block by DiGiulio there, coming back down too. He had a heck of a shift there.
Intercepted here by Landshoot. Engel moves it along for his teammate Jackson Berg, and then the pass goes out of bounds. Out of play, so the face-off will come back down as we take a look at Cameron Kinsella. 5 goals and 14 assists on the season for him. Starting blue liner.
They could use some scoring from him now that Sawicki's out, by gosh.
Yeah, in case you just joined us, Luke Sawicki and his 24 goals and 15 assists out with what we think is an abdominal injury. One of the captains for this Osseo team. Left early in the first and has not returned. So we'll just say his return is questionable, and we'll call it, we'll do the hockey parlance, an upper body injury.
Upper body injury, yes. Oh my gosh.
10 minutes gone by here in the second as the draw comes out in the neutral zone. Still scoreless between Hopkins and Osseo. Royals enjoying better success in the faceoff dot. Halverson makes the save, spills the rebound. Osseo gets to it first and clears it out to center. Millis shares it across for Danny Kraus, who flips it in deep. And
Well,
I seen the call.
wow.
Not sure about that.
I think they missed that one, yeah. Yeah, I was sure. We're right at the red line here, folks, and it looked like he got it across and we let it go.
So the faceoff comes back down in the Hopkins end, left circle. Orioles win the draw. Quick shot on net. Hauger makes the save. LeBerg whacks at it. Comes back out to Kraut at the blue line. Tipped free. Nice play by Kraus. Pokes it to himself. Fights it into the zone. How about this effort from Danny Kraus? 3 goals and 3 assists on the season. Game just to regain the zone, or gain the zone rather, for Hopkins. Now Hopkins will go off as they get it in deep, try to set up the forecheck. Good zone exit for Osseo. Eli Prokop stood up, or Bennett Prokop, I should say, as he tries to get into the zone. Jake Sawicki, brother of Luke, tied up in a board battle deep in the Hopkins end. LeBerg's shot driven down. He regains possession. Nifty move to get free. Ultimately loses out. Swade Millis. Just a bit offside. Hopkins fans not loving that call. The offside stops the clock with 5:24 to go, second period. Shots 13-11 for the game in favor of Hopkins.
Well, both teams having trouble getting into a rhythm and really moving the puck around and trying to get some opportunities created here. Been a little choppy.
Osseo having trouble staying out of the penalty box here in this second period. Hopkins 0 for 4 on the power play. Osseo 0 for 2. Nice little move by Henry Coplin. Each team is struggling to maintain possession and get any kind of offensive rhythm going. Chip and chase for Eli Palarenta. DiGiulio gets there first. And Hopkins captain flips it out to center. Bodine wires it around. Coplin leaning on an Osseo Oriole. Both go to the ice. And the whistle stops play.
Bit of a quick whistle there. Looked like he was trapped on the boards, but both teams get a chance to make a change here. Pretty critical for Hopkins too. Defensive zone face-off here. They're gonna want to have a certain person taking that face-off.
Schenkelberg versus Hillstrom. Won by the Royals as Millis tries to go through Carter. LeBerg throws it on net. York centers, finds its way to a teammate's stick in Eli Larson, but nothing came of it. Malachi Berry taps it toward the Osseo net rather. LeBerg cleared but not out. Thrown again in front. Only hits Kranz, who when he's not in the box has played a good game. In deep centered off the side of the net. It's loose in front. And right to Malachi Berry. A little more open here in the second period as these two teams go back and forth. Big check delivered by Berg on Millis. Tried to turn Swade into leather right there. Shots for the period officially 7-3. Here's another blow from the point for Millis.
Another bad turnover by the Orioles.
Schuckenberg ducks away from a defender. There's a shot that goes off the end board. Would have been tough from a sharp angle. It's flung down the ice. Osseo wisely choosing to ice the puck and get a new line out there. 3:03 to go.
Good pressure by the Royals here. Good pressure. They really got going and started moving it well. But, you know, the thing is, nobody's created a prime opportunity here. You know, there just hasn't been anything like a 1, 2, 3, bing, bang, boom. It's kind of been slop here.
Yeah, no outstanding chances. This was not a bad one, but again, have to be real good, and Halverson's too experienced not to have his near post covered.
Yeah.
Off the draw, they win it. Quick shot by Danny Kraus. Instead, cleared out to center. Now tipped back in for the speedy Leo Carter to chase. Kinsella gets there first. Stolen again, though. Kraus from above the left circle. His shot driven down. And the bounding puck goes back into the Hopkins end. Tracked down by Landshut. Landshut with nearly a bad turnover. Poke checked free by the netminder Hauger. Back out through traffic. Hauger makes another good save as Bodine tested in. Bodine flips it in deep once more.
That was a great save. He was screened. He had his pad in the right place and got a good save out of that.
Sawicki down there along with Bennett Prokop. It comes back out to the point. Shared far side with Kinsella. Down low for Konchaska to chase. On the backhand, the centering pass is intercepted. Xander Brown and DeJulio now picks it up, goal line extended. And he'll fire it down toward Halverson, who got a little handcuff there. That might have been a goal of the year contender if that had gone in. Tipped in at the line by Weston Danks. Backhanded toward the near side corner. At the left point, little friendly fire there as the shot from Will Engel hit a man in Eli Palorent out front. Delayed offside on Osseo. LeBerg snaps off a wrister. Loose in front, backhanded out. Center point for Engel. His pass intercepted. 2-on-2 for Hopkins. Engel back there with a minute to go in the second. Now 2-on-2 for Osseo as they gain the line. That comes around to the near side corner, where it's played there by Bennett Froderman. Flung to the slot. Bennett, or Ty Prokop rather, couldn't get his stick free.
Well, we can see Osseo now is starting to put some things together. They're starting to find a little bit of a rhythm. They're making the first two passes. They need to finish that third.
Intercepted here by Palorenta. Toe drag and fires, and Hauger snaps it with the glove. Stops the clock with 25 seconds left.
Nice play there. They got a good shot and got a face-off inside the offensive zone.
Hopkins has had some chances of their own, but Osseo lately has had the better of the chances. Really tested Carson Hauger, the sophomore, who's stopped all 14 shots he's faced this afternoon. Through traffic, Cran's shot hits a couple bodies in front, including Gavin Kachanska. It's chopped at back to center. And that one goes off the window and out of play as Bodine was trying to flip it in deep.
And some lucky fan has a souvenir.
So take a look at head coach David Prokop. The Suns have been two of the bright spots today for Osseo. Face-off coming at center ice with just 9 seconds left. Bodine banked ahead, big collision. Brady Landshut will play with it as time expires here in the second period. Shots in the period, 7-6 in favor of Hopkins. Pretty even period in general. We'll come back in a second to talk about it. Still scoreless after 2 periods of play here at the Dick Frott Memorial Ice Arena on CCX.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that it's its own unique space too.
Second intermission here at Osseo High School. Hopkins and Osseo still scoreless after 2 periods of play. Bill Hupp and Dan Ficken here. And Dan, a few more scoring chances. I mean, the big story of that period really was Osseo taking 3 penalties consecutively in the first 3 minutes. As we take a look at the stats so far, 16-13 Osseo on top after each team had 7 shots in the period. Scoring chances relatively even. Both teams 0 for on the power play. Hopkins 0 for 2, and Osseo 0 for 2. Hopkins 0 for 4, I should say. And it's just been a pretty even game, but neither goalie has had to really stand on his head yet.
No, I mean the rhythm that neither team has been able to establish a rhythm per se.
And indeed that is the case. Like you were saying.
Well, trying to move the puck around and create some opportunities here. It's just been, a missed pass here, jumps over a stick, or you don't pick it up clean, or they get it to the backhand rather than the forehand. It's little things like that can make a big difference here. And there's been no real, 3-on-2 or odd man rushes at all during this game at all.
Yeah, we've seen some defensive zone giveaways, even by the goaltenders, but nothing has really been capitalized as far as opportunities go, and so it's all to play for as we've played 2 periods here at the Tin Bin, and we'll see what happens in the third. 3 points still very much available as Hopkins looks to pick up a weekend sweep, and Osseo looks to bounce back and even their record at 500. We'll have the third period coming up shortly here on CCX.
I am so glad you ladies are here. You each have your own rooms.
Thank you.
Good.
Is it okay to call you Mom?
Of course you can.
Back here at the Tin Bin, Bill Hupp and Dan Ficken ready to start the third period of play between Osseo and Hopkins. Osseo looking to pick up the win here on Senior Day for their 8 seniors, including Justin Halverson in between the pipes. He stopped all 13 of the shots he's faced. They keep changing the official line, so Halverson is officially stopped 7 in the second period. Hauger stopped 6. So shots officially for the game 15-13 in favor of Osseo, as the sophomore Carson Hauger has done a nice job, as has Halverson. And we are underway in the third period as the game is scoreless. Which team will break through with the opening goal? That might be the difference in this hockey game. Or who knows, we might have an explosion of offense in this period. That shot whistling high. LeBerg comes down to play it. His centering pass is tipped high in the air and out of the zone. Ty Prokop bats it over to Jacob Bodine, who banks it in the zone and ices the puck.
Well, both teams just having trouble putting the puck in the net, too. I mean, the goalies have played well, but there haven't been any really quality scoring chances from either team, and it's been a problem for them all year. So the one that breaks through here is going to have a big advantage, because scoring 1 goal is tough in this game.
Yeah. Both teams defensively have been a little suspect as well. 4.05 goals against, and for Osseo and a 4.11 goals against for Hopkins this season, but both teams keeping clean sheets thus far. Osseo gains the zone. That pass banked off the boards for Kranz. Picked up here, and there's a shot off the post from Gavin Kashaska. Landshoot chipping in there for Hopkins. Osseo manages to hold the zone, slamming on the brakes. Bennett Prokop got a shot off, but it's taken back by Hopkins.
Well, Swade Millis for Hopkins took that one block, and it hurt him. It's a good block. It was a good opportunity for the Osseo Orioles, and he stepped up and blocked it, but now he's back on the bench kind of hurting.
That's what you got to do. It never feels good. Intercepted at the line, the bounding puck. And the kind of choppy, scrappy play continues from both teams as Will Engel, third line defenseman out there. And that is lofted up into the crowd. Second souvenir of the game. Face-off will come back down as DiGiulio didn't intend that. Ty Prokop out there as well, and face-off will be taken in the right circle of the Royals zone. 2 minutes gone by here in the third. Neither team with a shot, still scoreless.
You know, closer this comes down to, you know, near the end of the quote third period, each shot's going to be critical, important. And as a coach, you tell your team shoot, just start shooting.
Got to put the puck on the net, right?
Yes.
Forced back into the Hopkins end. Long outlet pass to Weston Danks. Deflects it toward Halverson. LeBerg manages to get there first. Paletka chases it to the near side boards. Thrown on net by Wyatt Peterson, and then banks back out for Peterson to collect at his line.
That was a good shot by Peterson. That was a challenge.
Yeah, drift back into his own end. A little suspect with the puck, though, as Danny Kraus can't clear it. Swept in deep by Bjork as Osseo changes on the fly. Tries to set up the forecheck. Probably spent more time down in the Osseo or in the Hopkins end. But the score remains the same as Krantz wires it around. Or rather, Bodine. Centering pass is a bit of timber on the ice. Bodine at the right point. Wires it back around. Chopped at by Hillstrom. Out front, Hillstrom on the backhand. His effort goes nowhere. Bodine goes back to the corner. It's wired around by Millis and held in at the left point by Krantz.
Yeah, both these D are making good decisions here, Bill. They're not worried about getting a shot on that. Just put it deep and make Hopkins go, you know, the 180 feet.
Hopkins comes out with it. Into the zone where Bodine banks a great, beautiful pass which finds its way to Kachaska. Instead, his efforts intercepted by Henry Copeland. Poked forward by Xander Brown and in deep. Yeah, each team just playing fundamental hockey right now. Getting pucks deep and trying to let their offense and their forecheck do their thing. Kranz with a long stretch pass that's tipped in. Or apparently not, because icing is the call. 4 minutes gone by here in the third period, and still we remain scoreless.
Well, neither team has been able to attack the attacking blue line with in force. With people moving forward, it's basically been a dump and chase type game.
David Prokop and the Orioles really seem to be missing Luke Sawicki, their leading scorer. Went off injured on senior day and has not returned since leaving in the first period. D-to-D pass for Osseo as they exit the zone. LeBerg backhands it into the right wing corner where it's picked up by Henry Coppin. Big check delivered by LeBerg. And that forces a turnover, and we've got an injured player on the ice. There's a shot, and the whistle stops play as Leo Carter took the worst of that one. Stepped into by LeBerg right in front of his own bench, and he is shaken up down on the ice in his own end.
Well, LeBerg's pretty big, solid guy, a 6-footer, and he really got a hold of him. He took him right down hard.
Good to see.
And that playing surface ain't exactly soft.
No, good to see Carter up, but Carter just took the worst of that one. He kind of initially got up and then was, yeah, you can see him holding that right knee.
Yeah.
He's sitting up now as they bring the training staff out. 12:33 to go, regulation. No score between Hopkins and Osseo. Not a dirty hit from our perspective,
no.
just a physical play. Leo Carter, the senior.
Well, sometimes when you get hit, you get twisted, and there's a bit of a whiplash effect too, especially on your lower legs. happened to your ankle or your knee, and I'm not going to speculate on what's wrong, but it appears he's been pointing to his knee. That's what's hurting right now.
This is Osseo's just their 7th home game of the season.
Yeah.
At Dick Vra Arena. And they'll visit Totino Grace next Thursday. They only have 8 on the schedule as Carter escorted off the ice by a couple of his teammates. So Hopkins, which came in, Dan, with a couple players out, Grant Lochner, Grayson Halstead, and his 5 assists. Halstead out after getting his foot stepped on after last night's win over Dodge County. So if Carter can't return, they're down a couple players. And their depth is going to be tested here in the 3rd period.
Well, both of these teams are basically 2-line teams. Their 3rd line kind of, fills in, gives them a little bit of a rest. If they could get something out of their 3rd lines, well, that would be a big bonus to whatever team that happens to.
Centering pass cut out by Wyatt Peterson, and he clears it back out to center. Osseo regroups at their own line. Shared near side for Eli Palarenta. Palarenta on the forecheck. Prokop can't get there. Palarenta delivers a punishing check as the puck is forced in deep in the Osseo end. Palarenta right to... and that's Davis. I was almost going to say Luke Sawicki, but Davis is the one that's out there as Jacob Bodine, and it looks like we've got a penalty coming up. Interference is going to be the call.
Yep.
And I believe it's going to be on Danny Kraus, potentially. We'll see. Nope, it's going to be on an Osseo Oriole. I shouldn't have speculated. It's going to be on Will Engel.
Yeah, Kraus is the one that was held up and interfered with.
And Kraus's speed is a factor, as we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Penalty coming at 5 minutes and 30 seconds of the 3rd period. Interference, the call, the 5th penalty taken this afternoon by Osseo.
Well, the power plays have not been effective for either team so far in this game, so this might be an opportunity for something to break through here.
Picked up at center ice by Brady Landshut. Good stick to knock it free by Bjork. Schenkelberg to Landshut. Back to Schenkelberg. In between the rings. Hand on the shot. Swade Millis. Pass is a little too heavy for Schenkelberg. Now it's on the stick of Millis, and oh, what a chance there. Halverson made the save, and Hopkins forces it in. The Royals strike first on the power play. Weston Schenkelberg, his team-leading 4th goal of the season. It comes on the power play, and it makes it 1-0 Hopkins.
Well, and he's got 13 assists, but you can see it all bounces behind the goalie here. And it just kind of rolled in until they finally got a stick on it. Probably would have scored if a stick hadn't gotten on it anyway, but just one of those fluke goals that goalie makes the initial save and it just bounces funny. And in it goes.
We'll see who they give this first and secondary assist to. Halverson made the initial stop, then the puck floated up in the air and kind of landed behind him as he makes a save there on Landshut. But eventually Hopkins breaks through on the power play. They're 1 for 5 this afternoon. Osseo's penalty-taking ways punished here. Schenkelberg from DeGiulio on the power play for DeGiulio, assist number 6 in the season. And Schenkelberg, not surprising, he's the one that broke through. 3 goals, and 3 assists now with the man advantage this season for the Royals.
Well, now Osseo's got to answer. They got to make a statement here saying, all right, fine, you got your goal. We're still in this game. We got to get in the attack zone and set up and get some shots on goal.
6:45, the time of the goal. So we're inside of 10 minutes in the 3rd period, and David Prokop searching for answers as the draw comes down in the Hopkins end. Gilstrom takes the face and wins it. It's thrown toward the net, and Hauger melts it down.
Yeah, and Osseo now is really behind the 8 ball. Their leading scorer is gone, and he was their leading scorer by a long shot.
Gilstrom stays out there to take the face-off for Osseo. Find themselves trailing here on Senior Day, 1-0. Will the urgency and intensity increase from the Orioles? Kranz whacks at it, but Landshut forces it in the zone. Cross ice pass to Nolan is picked up by Leo Carter. Good to see him back out there. Good stick lift by Kranz, and it's swept in deep by Eli Larson, but the play is ruled offside.
Offside, yeah.
So both teams will take the chance to get new lines out there.
Get a good look at big Eli Larson there. He's trying to get a little rabble-rousing going and shake up one of the Hopkins defense there with the stick. Trying to do something to get something started here for the Orioles.
Clean draw, one back to Kranz as they regain the zone. There's a shot from the top of the circle. Back out to the point to Kranz. He moves middle, fires. Hauger got his glove to it but couldn't hang on. Puck still alive behind the Hopkins net. Backhanded along and then intercepted. Osseo forechecking ferociously down by a goal at home. Back up the wall to Kranz at the point. Shared across. Loose in front. There's a body on the ice, and might we have the first Hopkins penalty in a while? Sure looks like Swade Millis might be, nope. Well, I can't tell. The ref going over talking. Yes. It is indeed going to be Swade. He tried to sneak off the ice, but Swade Millis, no. Coincidental minors is what it's going to be. Jake Sawicki and Swade Millis go. I saw Sawicki on the ice, and so I wasn't sure if Millis would get the penalty, but ultimately it's coincidental minors, and we remain 5-on-5.
Oh.
There's a big save made by Hauger. Coincidental roughing minors for both.
A lot of bodies flying down in front of that Hopkins net.
Actually, one of the penalties, point of fact, a high stick. Swept into the zone. Wyatt Peterson tracks it down in the end boards. Has to force it along for Weston Danks. Great pressure there initially by Bodine. Just doing the dirty work for Osseo. Prokop. Back out for Kinsella. He rings it around. Getting there first, Malachi Berry, whose name we have not called much as of late. DiGiulio. Near side. Peterson. Now Hopkins just struggling to exit its own zone. Finally tipped out, collected by Kranz. He goes D-to-D with the pass. Up ahead, tipped in by Kanshaka. Kranz has been everywhere in this hockey game. For better or worse, he's taken 2 penalties today.
But at least he's got a little spark. He's got a little life. He's trying to create some havoc, and you need guys like that.
Both teams just relentlessly passing the puck back to the other. Kranz puts on the brakes, loses his defender. Prokop up ahead, where Kanchanka backhands it in. Inside of 7 minutes to go. Osseo searching for the game-tying goal. Engel back at the point. Good stick lift as Barry gets it in. Oh, there's a quick shot forced on net by Leo Carter. Halverson had to be live to it. Schelkenberg, the goal scorer, now hounding LeBerg.
Oh, my.
Oh, great pocket pick by Carter. Halverson gloves it and holds on.
Carter being annoying, being a pest and stuff, doing a nice job for the Hopkins Royals, just disrupting Osseo's efforts to get out of the zone. Forces it for an offensive face-off in the Osseo zone.
And Talkovic looking on for Hopkins, hoping to see his team pick up its first weekend series sweep, or weekend sweep, I should say, not a series, but a weekend sweep, and continue their relatively dominant run over Osseo. They've won, if they hang on, they'll have won 3 straight over the Orioles, dating back the last couple years. This by far the lowest scoring game of those 3. Osseo still making a nuisance. Palorenta tries to center. Well defended by the Royals. 5.5 minutes to go. Flipped out of the zone. Bodine trying to clear, and Hopkins again just forcing it in deep. Prokop can't walk his way through. Well defended by Landshut. Landshut takes a bump from Conchaca, and I believe icing is the call. It is, so we'll take it back down into the Hopkins end.
Well, Osseo got to start capitalizing on some of these attack zone faceoffs. They've been down there quite a bit, taking quite a few, but you know, Hopkins is just finding a way to get in the way. They block the shot, they deflect the pass. You know, they get it off to the side.
Shots in this period 5-3 in favor of Osseo. They got a screener in front in the form of Jake Sawicki, and now we've got a penalty coming up as Osseo is going to go back on the power play.
That was a fairly obvious one. Sawicki just getting taken down there.
Landshut takes that one. Sawicki trying to provide a screen in front. And so that ill-timed penalty with inside of 5 minutes to go gives Osseo its best chance to tie this hockey game. As you see the replay, and Landshut, or rather Sawicki, just right place, and Landshut takes him down. Osseo wins the draw, and then a little bit of sloppiness as Crans can't hold the zone. Tripping penalty, the call on Landshut. Osseo tonight 0 for 2 on the power play. Oh, well defended there. Nice stick by Malachi Berry. Forces Crans to go back to his own end. Shared near side, but this just takes valuable time, Dan, to get set up in the offensive zone.
Oh, yeah, you got to have a sense of urgency. If you're going to dump and run, you got to get down there and on that puck.
Second time in this power play that Crans let it go underneath his stick, and now the icing brings the draw back down into the Osseo end.
It'd be nice to say that Hopkins has got a good penalty kill, but it's been Hopkins has got a good penalty kill, but Osseo's just been shooting themselves in the foot here.
Yeah, uncharacteristic sloppiness. Hopkins, in case you're wondering, 1 for 5. Their only goal scored on the power play, and now hoping to kill off the game. And so maybe special teams the difference. Certainly has been so far. Bodine with speed. The captain wires it in. It comes up the near side boards. Palorenta can't get there. LeBerg trying to keep it in. Palorenta pass in the middle, and that shot blocked down. Kinsella was trying to get something going. Back to the point. Near side, LeBerg walks in, fires, and he missed the net. Not sure if Hauger got a piece to it, but that was a great chance, and now whistle stops play. Hopkins bench applauding things, so it looks like the face-off will come back. I don't know if they're saying a hand pass or what, but stops the clock with 38 seconds left on the tripping minor and 3:35 left in regulation. Hopkins clinging to a 1-0 lead. Palorenta kicked out. Bjork moves in. Osseo thought almost won it, didn't know where it was. Barry Great job by him to force it through. Tries to stick lift on Bodine. But again, these kind of things just making a nuisance of themselves against the Osseo power play.
Well, you start getting frustrated, and then you start gripping your stick pretty hard, too. And
Palorento with a sharp angle shot off the side netting. It comes right back to him. He's still rimming the zone, the alternate captain. LeBert back in the middle for Bodine, and that's deflected to the end boards. They lose an edge in the left wing corner. From the left dot back as Hopkins goes back to full strength, and a great job to back check out of the box. And now a chance here with Malachi Berry. On net, crashes into the goaltender. Play on, says the ref. No call and no goal. As frenetic action here with 2:38 and counting left to go.
what a nice play by Hopkins Royals there, though.
Palorenta tracking it down, icing waved off. Osseo trying to tie it here, trailing 1-0 inside of 2.5 minutes. Engel at the left point, holds the zone, throws it on net, and it's deflected up and out of play. Oh boy, Eli Palorento was on the doorstep, and now it might be a good time for one of the coaches to use their timeout. As you see the breakaway here, a golden chance, and Malachi Berry, great job by LeBerg to hound him.
That was a really good back check. That saved the goal, to be honest with you.
No question.
Yeah. Did a
And
nice job.
Berry ended up crashing into the netminder Halverson, but no call. I believe this is an Osseo timeout as they have a face-off down in the Hopkins end, trailing by a goal.
And it won't be too long here before we see that goaltender pulled. Yeah, I've been noticing that some of these coaches are starting to pull a lot easier. You used to look at about 1:05 to 1 minute left to pull. Now they're looking at about 1:40 or 1:35 left in the game, and makes total sense to me. It doesn't matter when you score your goal or the other team takes a 2-goal lead. We're close to the end.
Osseo has had trouble scoring in the recent games, Dan. Now, granted, those games have been against Centennial and Maple Grove, two of the best in the section and in the conference, but they have been shut out in 2 of the last 3 games, 8-0 in each. So scoring has been an issue as of late. As we're going to take a look at this last Osseo chance, and it was a good one right on the doorstep. Palorenta was lurking, and that's what you want to do if you're Engel, just throw it on net from the point. But now it's face-off win is of the utmost importance.
They scored 1 goal against Buffalo, 2 goals against Rogers, 2 goals against Andover. I mean, and have been shut out a couple of times, and it's been a struggle to get the puck in the net.
Sawicki wins the drawback. One-timer from center point. And Bodine's shot is saved by Hauger through traffic. That's exactly what they wanted, I think. Engel, or beg your pardon, Bodine in his heavy left-hand shot. As we see here, it was one back, and they got the shot they wanted, just not enough traffic in front. So now they'll do it again, this time from Hauger's left with 2:11 to go in regulation.
Well, there aren't too many D out there that can beat a goalie straight up with a shot from the point.
That was another shot from center point. Hauger makes another save. The puck loose on the side of the net. It leaks out for Bodine. Kranz back at center ice. Fires it off the skate of Bodine. It's eventually picked up by Ty Prokop. Osseo with less than 2 minutes to go. Into the zone here, Konchaska. There's a shot by Bodine that goes wide. Prokop back up for Kranz. Good stick lift by Deegan. William Deegan leading on the bigger Kranz. Osseo still working it, and we've got Kranz mixed up with Deegan back, and I think Deegan, as the Hopkins bench is woofing it, Brandon Kranz, who just takes his 3rd penalty of the game. 6 attackers on the ice. It's now going to be 5 as Kranz sits for the 3rd time.
Didn't need to get involved with the small guy. Did not need to get involved there with that. He just should have pulled off and back and just let it go.
Guessing roughing's going to be the call. But you look at Deegan here, and he just the all up in the hands of Kranz. Maybe a little bit of holding there for sure. You might have been able to call that. And
yes, you might have, definitely.
I don't know. I think Kranz got a rough deal there, but
I
a
do
raw
too.
deal. 1:20 to go. DiGiulio looking to pull the goalie. 4 skaters out there right now, plus the goalie. So they're trying to score shorthanded to complete this comeback. Off the window and out. The goalie leaves the extra attackers on the ice inside of a minute to go. DiGiulio backhands it up the wall. Cleared out of the zone, forcing DeBerg to retreat. And Chaska back at his line. DeBerg from center ice flips it in off the end boards. Mills gets there first. Sawicki in a board battle left half wall. It bounds out. It's headed to the empty net. It is gonna miss. So icing the call. Osseo living dangerously. And they will continue to have 5 skaters on the ice with just 27 seconds left.
Well, you got nothing to lose now. I mean, you're already down by a goal. Who cares if you go down by 2? So you got to keep them out there and get puck control and take your best shots at it.
Jake Sawicki again taking the face-off against Schelkenberg. It's won by Hopkins. And they'll be content to just melt it down. Landshoot trying to pin it to the end boards. 15 seconds to go. 10 seconds remaining. A chance out in front. That shot flashes wide. Thrown on net again by Bodine. Scramble in front. And finally Hauger jumps on it with 2.3 seconds to go. A power play goal, the difference in this game. Weston Schenkelberg. And they just need to basically win this last draw. As you see, a great effort to throw it on net. And that was Eli Palorenta, who was right there with the rebound, but Hauger makes another big save.
Don't get too many more chances like that.
Clock not starting. They finally do. The Hopkins coaches gesturing, but it doesn't matter. Cameron Carson Hauger rushed as Hopkins defeats Osseo. They come on the road and they pick up their first weekend series sweep of the season with a 1-0 hard-fought victory over the Osseo Orioles here on Senior Day.
Very important for them to get a win. You could just tell by the joy they just celebrated getting that win here, and finally got a goal when they needed one. And played a really good game. It couldn't have been more evenly matched. They just got that one advantage on the PP.
Shots finished 23-17 in favor of Osseo, but for the Orioles, 6 penalties committed on the night, and the biggest one came when Hopkins scored on the power play, 6:45 into the third period. A goal by Weston Schelkenberg, assisted by Louis DiGiulio. And despite Hopkins being shorthanded, they get an overtime win by a goal over Dodge County last night. And then they come in here tonight and get a huge 1-0 win. So Hopkins improves to 6-12 on the season. And Osseo, meanwhile, falls in a tough one on Senior Day. They finish 10-12. I'd like to thank my color analyst, Dan Ficken, director Brian Nelson, and our entire CCX Sports crew. Again, the final here from the Tin Bin at Dick Bra Memorial Ice Arena. It's Hopkins 1 and Osseo 0. Thanks for watching this presentation of high school boys hockey on CCX.